And makes so much noise smacking these slimy creatures. Okay, I should slow down a little bit. We're close enough now that we could be calling out the attention of the royal jelly. Oops, queued up a bunch of moves by accident there. But, okay, we don't see her yet. There she is. Okie dokie. Chances of this buddy affecting us all low, so that's great. I actually think this time around, contrary to how I have been dealing with this fight the last couple of occasions, we're going to be dealing with the royal jelly in the corridor here, where we don't have to struggle quite as much with the mass amounts of summons, even though we at least have like condenser vein, tremor stones, all this stuff might be okay for dealing with that nonsense. Let's back up one more so the shining eye can't malmutate us around the edge of the royal jelly here. But my next step is going to be to switch to throwing nets as my quivered item here, and we're going to net this dang old jelly right away. We are going to mirror the jelly, and then we are both going to take turns slapping you around, maybe even throw out our condenser vein here. Of course, we get acid for the first time while we're in slimes here. Unfortunately, not quite as useful, but still something for sure. The other thing to take note of is that the royal jelly is also vulnerable to silver. So as soon as we get the space here, I'm going to throw a javelin, and that is lovely. And in a similar vein, we're going to throw javelin through all these slimes, trying to get that shining eye out of the way. Perfect. And with that, we're looking to kind of be settling down. We're not out of the well completely yet, so we're still a little wee bit surrounded here. But it's definitely looking a wee bit better. It's the best way for me to deal with this. Maybe I should just have chugged a might potion right at the start of the fight now that I think about it. Nice playing. Thanks, Rafay. Definitely doing our best here today. Also, thank you very much for the follow. It means a whole lot to me, and that's awesome. I guess not inherently so. It's awesome to me, I should say. But we're definitely doing our best here. The royal jelly is something I'm fairly comfortable with fighting at the very least. And in fact, I'm just going to potion petition some health so that we're not at all worried about finishing off this fight. Not too shabby. No, again, with the royal jelly, it's pretty much if I can check everything off of my little plan checklist. One of the like 3 or 4 different strategies that I personally like to use against the royal jelly. As long as you can check all those off, you should be able to get through the fight. As long as everything doesn't completely go down the drain in terms of RNG. But this is my favorite game. It's always good to see great players, and this is a new one for me. Do you mean that you recently started playing, or this rune here? Either way, definitely a cool, I guess. Jeez, sorry. At the end of the stream here, I start to slow down a little bit in how actively my brain can come up with what I'm trying to say. But sometimes this happens. It's DCSS, the mirror approach. Now, the mirror is definitely pretty handy for any of these really kind of frightening single target enemies. Wow, I'm not getting any healing potions out of my potion petition. I just keep doing it over and over again. Hoping for it here, but that's fine. We'll do a heal wounds instead, I guess. Just to, again, simplify things, make sure not doing anything too stupid. And then hopefully slimes haven't eaten all the good treasure too. Doesn't look like it though. Perfect. But trapping it there was a great move. Yeah, no, it definitely helps a whole lot when, especially when playing as these more straightforward fighter classes. Like if you have a lot of blasting casting ability, then you're not going to even come close to needing to resort to that. But on characters like this, it definitely is a bit of a lifesaver to stay in the hallway there, make sure you're not getting hit by every which way by slimes. Makes life just a wee bit easier for us all. Gonna keep just manually going through the treasure here, even though I probably should. Oh, is there another golden eye? Dang it, get out of here. Probably should just use our auto explore. Or even, I guess the quick answer here, let's pick up one item. There we go. Now I can auto explore and just actively tell it to ignore things we don't want to pick up. Always find myself in this situation at some points. Oh, and we got teleported. Yeah, also a nice soundtrack. Yeah, I do love me some Polybridge soundtrack, and definitely love to hear the approval of it in the audience today as well. It's definitely one that I very much enjoy having on in the background here. Oh, Ninth Settler, thank you so much for the raid. That's awesome. I've definitely, never gotten the opportunity to watch you live, but I have seen that you're one of the other one of the other streamers who does a lot of the DCSS work around here. So definitely awesome to be recognized by you. That means a lot. And thank you kindly for the raid. Also, hello raiders as well. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Hopefully I can manage to hold up a little bit to Ninth Settler, even though I'm guessing, just based on how often I find myself running into trouble, it might be a little more panic-inducing than you're used to. Oh, and also thanks for the Solar Ninth Settler. That's very much appreciated on top of the raid here. But okie dokie. Perfect timing on it as well. We did just finish our third rune here, which is nice. Can finally start on the home stretch here. Yeah, panic is a common emotion for me in DCSS. Even though we were just talking about earlier today how part of the fun of this game for me is that specific feeling of panic. So it's all, of course, a good thing. But I played it on stream today also after a long while. Sorry. Again, blame my brain, not your writing, don't worry about it. But is teaching it to younglings, nice. Definitely any and all spreading of the great word of DCSS is always fun. It's great to see new players coming in. I'm kind of happy that there seems to be a pretty steady flow of people discovering this game still, which is awesome. But let us now head down Zot ways, I guess. See if we can't clear out through the rest of this. Rain even showed up for you. Hope you played okay. There's a community for DCSS until a very little time ago. You played it for 10 years and always alone. Yeah, wow. No, it definitely has. Yeah, it's a bit of a vocal minority. Definitely a smaller fan base relative to some of the, obviously compared to stuff like Minecraft and Among Us and all that nonsense. I shouldn't say nonsense. I actually enjoy those games as well. But it definitely has a really strong and solid community, even with that. Oh wait, do I not have 3 runes? Did I not get the rune in slime? Did my slime rune get eaten? Or am I just silly? Oh, how embarrassing. We climbed all this way back down through the dungeon just to immediately embarrass ourselves as we try and put our key in the lock and it's just not working. Looking like an idiot. But let's run back down and see if our rune got eaten by slimes. The turns to what's your progress on winning with every species? So yeah, this is our 4th species here. Dang it. There's the Rune of Zot. I'm just an idiot. So yeah, we're going down in order, left to right, kind of through the standard species list there. So getting through all the easy, and then intermediate, and then expert at the end, saving the painful ones for last year. But it's going all right. I thought that we were going to be speeding up as we went along at the start here, and I think in general that's where the trend line will sit, but our last run in particular as a merfolk was quite interesting and definitely ran into quite a few roadblocks along the way. Ended up being quite a bit slower than my average game, unfortunately, but still had a lot of fun and all that. No dying allowed. No, I'm definitely not streaking through the whole thing. I think that's a little too much skill required for me as a player, but as many as we can without dying is definitely the plan. And at least going until we get the win. Some advanced species are easier than some of the simpler intermediate. Yeah, you're not wrong. Specifically, I mean, it doesn't totally fit into what you're describing there. I really like formicids. They are a little tricky just because the lack, or like the stasis that prevents you from speeding up and teleporting is a little tricky for sure. But I definitely agree with you there, where there's some really interesting ones. Oh, and I guess you gave, for example, Baraki has to be easier than Draconian for sure. See, that's actually funny. I've never played a Baraki, so that's going to be somewhere where I get to really learn a little bit of the new side of things. But I have heard that their jump ability seems really strong, even just for adding a little bit of mobility, I think is what I was going for there. But let us go. Baraki Hunter is good. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. You can keep kind of hopping away and getting distance between you and enemies. I guess there must be some kind of limit to the hopping. Is it like an exhaustion stack or something like that? Can't use it infinitely? I guess regardless, we'll have to figure it all out at some point here. Solve the mysteries. But, oh my gosh, I've started my fight through Zot here, and what I totally forgot is that we have tons of money and not much to spend it on. So let's get bribing. It's one of the beauties of our deity here. So we may as well take full advantage of that. We also, don't need a corrosion ring anymore. Resist corrosion on at least at all times. So let's switch that out. It has a cooldown. You need to stay still to rest it off. Ooh, interesting. Definitely, yeah, excited. I'm very excited for a lot of the species that I'm less familiar with, as well as the ones that I'm extremely familiar with but love. I chatted a while back with a commenter on YouTube about just how much I'm looking forward to demon spawns, because they're an absolute ball. Make sure you save some bribing money for Zot 5. Yeah, I'm hoping that we've saved up enough in the final stretch here. Also, I should take note actively that the fact we got that Orb of Fire to be non-aggressive towards us is flippin' fantastic, and I'm secretly celebrating on the inside there. But yeah, we tried to save up enough money that I'm hoping we can get 3 bribes, and that should get us through most of the trouble here. I do want to be a wee bit careful with these bad boys. Can use the kind of winding pathways in conjunction with our boots of speed here to really break up the line of sight as we walk away. Oh, until they haste as well. Hey, you're not supposed to do that. Does that really change anything for me? Let's do a might potion maybe, and then we can take care of this bad boy. Perfect. And just keep doing these weird little circle maneuvers. It's mostly that corrosion that I hate. Oh, hello, friend. I'm being a complete fool about how I'm playing this. Should really just finish these fights and not consistently keep running into new struggles. I'm very much just flying by the seat of my pants here instead of actively thinking whatsoever about what I'm doing. There we go. Maybe not. Doesn't actually look like it. There we go. I mean, now we're safe, I think. Says this fight continues to take us so long, just ever so long to dig down. Turns out Draconians, much scarier enemy than Orbs of Fire in this specific case. Not very often you'll get to say something like that though. But okie dokie. Let's try our best not to get unnecessarily bogged down by scary groups like that. And finally, we also got our first real bribed denizen here who will actively assist us rather than just being non-combative. So you love to see that. I'm hoping to get a little bit of an army going as we make our way on through Zot. Hey, there we go. Death Cobb joins the crew. And, ooh, another Draconian. Lovely. We're going to be getting flashbacks to our orc run here where we were trying our best to keep all of our friends alive the whole time. Alrighty. Still feeling fairly comfortable here with most of my team clogging up the hallways here and returning a lot of the enemies at the very least neutral, which definitely can't complain about. We're also finally getting a really good opportunity to fully take advantage of the fact that our polearm has reaching, and we're able to just stand behind some of our enlisted allies here and instead just poke on through. This ended up being quite the weird little fight. Dang it. A lot of enemies there, and unfortunately not very many allies that joined our side. In fact, I saw fire from down here, which we haven't gone sight of. That could be an orb of fire, could just be a red draconian of some kind. It's scary stuff. Let's maybe start retreating here and let our allies kind of deal with some of the trouble. In fact, feeling more experienced and whatnot. Definitely love to see it. Then let's take just a few of you back out this way. Switch over to our javelins and should also pepper in. This is kind of what I forgot, and what I should have been doing in that last fight probably was actually throwing javelins through all the targets here just to ensure that we're getting a whole bunch of DPS down and kind of clearing the room, even to keep our allies a little more alive. I'm going to switch to silver for the killer clown because I just don't want to deal with their crap. So we're going to try and take them out in just a few throws here. Maybe. Just maybe. There we go. Love it. And let's keep it moving here, and that's the kind of dream javelin throw that you don't see very often in game, where you're actually hitting each and every single one of enemies on screen. Love to see it. Okay, never mind. We apparently see an even better one just right after I make bold claims about the rarity. But still, no complaints from me. I'll gladly just take our extra DPS that we get from piercing through all these bad boys. You know what? You're gonna have to keep going like this. I was hoping to take care of this Quicksilver Dragon. There we go. Trying to prioritize certain targets, but it's kind of hard sometimes to get it to line up just the way you want to in trajectory here with the javelins. But keep on throwing. Just not too much to worry about at this point. Now that we've cleared out a decent chunk of the room and we're very much fully able to retreat out of here at a moment's notice. Those things in the clear, definitely no concerns on my part. And there we go. We have used up all of our bribe. Maybe I was vastly underestimating the amount of money it takes to bribe Orb of Zot, so we'll hold off for the time being. Ignore the condenser vein. But we will hold off for the time being and just see how the next couple floors go, and if we can maybe get away with not worrying about that. Identify the plate armor here. Not too much of interest. Also realize that I've been carrying around the scarf that we never tried on. And though it was highly doubtful that it was going to be better than our +5 cloak. I'm probably going to need those 6k for Zot 5 alone. Yeah, that's true. The lungs are just ridiculous density. But I'm also pretty okay with that. Because as much as the bribing may have helped us a little bit on these first couple floors, especially I guess on the first floor where we got to avoid fighting an orb of fire whatsoever, as much as it gave us nice advantages there, we should be able to clear through most of standard Zot enemies without the extra assistance. Especially if I'm a little more careful. Sometimes I'm being a little aggressive with these fights, like when I just immediately run out to engage on a couple of dragons there. And instead, we should really find some nice corridors, get some damage done in advance by throwing javelins at them. You know, the usual drill here. That's much better. And not too shabby. No, it's definitely been a little bit since I played Gozlak, just because I've been kind of trying to lean away from my usual favorites with most of these Win with Every Species runs. But it's definitely reminding me why I love him so much, going through again. And I definitely also very much appreciate, the advice and vaccine I'm getting from chat. It's always extremely helpful. It takes a village to win a DCSS game, right? Especially when we're trying our very best to get the streak going. When you bribe someone, you do not kill him, so you miss EXP. Not worth it. That is true. If I was a little more concerned with experience levels, like at this point, I don't even know what our skills are training. It's just very much in the background here. Yeah, evocations and throwing are topping off. I should maybe put a little more focus into like defensive skills. Also, we never went up for a tower shield, even though I trained that. Huh. But the thing about runs like this is if it's strong enough, it doesn't matter too much. I'm gonna try and keep in mind that I don't want to become overconfident, as always. It's always a critical concern in this game. But for the most part, I'm not at least hyper concerned about that kind of stuff. Looks like you have magic mapping, and that's useful for Zot. Very much so. And in fact, I was holding off for the... ouch. We got hit by a few unlucky snags in a row there. Oh me, oh my. Let's just kill the Shadow Dragon before any more of that nonsense, I guess. Okie dokie. But, yeah, I was holding off because we only have 3 in total, but that does mean that now that we're on this next floor, we should really tossing those out there. Oh gosh, lost all of our bribes on people. There's some weird mechanics I feel like that happen with certain bribed enemies and when they become aggressive to you again. I don't know if that was just an old bug that had issues and maybe it has completely recovered since then, but I know that that used to be a bit of a problem where every once in a while a certain combination of events would cause your room of allies to just immediately change their mind and turn against you. But as long as we don't have too many... Oh geez. Enraged Shadow Dragon is very scary, is what I just realized I was standing in front of and not even thinking about. I mean, fortunately, we have Boots of Running, so we can kind of outrun even a Berserk Shadow Dragon, but holy moly me oh my. Just going a mile a minute here. Keep distracting myself with all the monsters coming through. Oh gosh, because it really just never ends, just continues here. But let's throw that magic mapping on now, shall we? Give a little nod out to Awad for helping us out with that reminder. And let us start the exploration once more. This time we will, be not bribing any of these buddies. Wait. Are we still... Are we still bribing? Oh geez, sorry. Didn't see that cough coming. Normally I try and mute before even a little tiny baby cough like that. But, I didn't think I had a bribe going. And in fact, I still don't think I have a bribe going. Did I maybe have an ally get shafted? And I just ran into our shafted ally? Huh. Maybe. But let's also take this chance to look through the floor that we magic mapped, because I just had noticed this ridiculous array of symbols, but I have seen this vault before, and as long as we're not very unfortunate with monsters that we run into out front, shouldn't be too much of a problem, even with all the ridiculous number of Zot traps there. Not to ignore the dispersal traps, which are the real nightmare as well. Okay, no, we must still have bribe money in the pool, don't we? Why are some of these buddies allies with us? I'm so confused. Brain is just completely breaking down. I've missed out on something important here. But also, kind of interested to see where this fight ends. Because I think it's almost no matter what not worth it to start this encounter, because this encounter is an absolute nightmare. Most of these worded vaults are, don't get me wrong, but this one in particular with Orb of Zot traps and dispersal traps, it's going to be a no for me, I think. But interesting at the very least. Had to stop to give it at least a nod of recognition there. And then let us just keep it moving. I should maybe be identifying these rings still. I'm probably forgetting something that would be critical and beautiful to use. But I'm also just happy to, ooh, got paralyzed by chaos there. Death Cob is under every status effect in the entire game. Oh, let's switch. Perfect. Also, roleplay, Gozag's followers love gold and never a single piece for any useless shopping or wasteful drinking or useless hirelings. I don't know, I definitely waste a decent amount of gold, but I think I make up for it by my sheer desire to always collect more gold. Also, why do I have 2 of you now? Did you get doubled by chaos clouds? Is that a thing? How strange. What a world we live in. Oh my lord. Just apocalypse crab after apocalypse crab. And in fact, wait a second. One of you disappeared for a second, then you came back. It's all so confusing. I guess you went to kill the crab. Never mind. Duly noted. Continue as you were and all that. In fact, I think Death Cobs are more than a match for just the Apocalypse Crab on its own, and maybe even the Cursed Toe. Good job, buddies. Keep it up. Turns out that one bribe is doing absolute wonders in terms of progress here. As this single Death Cob that has somehow split into 2 Death Cobs absolutely wrecks house all across the board. I probably still want to back up just in case we get paralyzed by the chaos clouds. I do hate chaos clouds, dang it. I was just stood in the middle of them as I began to mention how much I hated them, because I'm an absolute idiot. Oh my glorb. I think my Death Cob got multiplied again, maybe though? Hey, beautiful entities. Hey, Failfink, how's it going? Just catching on. Good time in here for the very final home stretch of the old run here. Oh gosh. Absolute nightmare. We're also, oh, we're super contaminated. Oh, I'm probably going to be mutated to crap here. Maybe. No mutations yet from our contamination. Still none? Wow. We got quite lucky. Pretty good, thanks. Nice. That's good to hear. Oh, let's stop because our auto explorer is confused, thinking there are still chaotic clouds everywhere, when in fact we know that those are no longer quite as much of an issue. And a little silver javelin for Cursed Toes. Normally I hate these buddies and they're one of the true banes to my existence, but fortunately this time around we have a bunch of big old silver javelins that will absolutely wipe the floor. And so no concerns there. Let's keep it moving. Just about done Zot 3 here. At least I hope I'm through most of the most painful sections of it. Even though just by saying that, I'm probably damning myself to much, much worse in the future here. I'm so bad at this game. Or you're so bad at this game, I guess I should say. I do such a bad job with mixing up my verbal tenses with whether I'm saying something personally or if I'm reading chat out, and I should definitely just pick one and stick with it. It's like how I pronounce a lot of the names in this game, where I just flip-flop around and never decide how I want to actually say it. But, yeah, I don't think that's a concern at all. I think everyone is bad at this game to start out. Unless you're one of the rare... I don't know, dungeon crawl savants who just, it clicks perfectly and it happens to be exactly kind of what you're thinking of, but we'll start somewhere. And especially this game, there's so much info and it's so easy to die that I think we're all pretty bad at this game. If you just watch me for a bit here, even though I sometimes talk with such confidence and pretend I know what I'm doing, I also am quite bad at this game. So let's do a quick check to see all these summons are coming off this one buddy here. So I am going to switch to probably javelining through enemies just to take out all those bad boys. To be fair, I mostly played it right when it came out. Oh, nice. Back in the, like when it was still Lindley's, or when it first made the transition in, was it 06? When it was reinvigorated by the, I guess probably not the current devs, but the later cycle of devs that weren't Lindley himself. But it was very different then. Yeah, no kidding. No, I first started playing, I was just trying to finagle which year it was earlier this stream, and I totally, either like 08, 09, or at the very latest, 2011, I think is when I started. And so back when I first started, yeah, it had a lot of the fun, silly mechanics, like equipping a cursed blunt weapon and then all of a sudden find yourself completely unable to cut up meat and starving to death. That was an old classic mechanic. Also, being a transmuter and distilling potions from the bodies of your enemies and throwing them at others was always a fun thematic thing as well. But perks of playing online, I know that my first game was in 0.7 and my first win was in 0.8. Oh, that is true. It would be nice to have a bit of a backlog here. One of these days I should just go digging through my old stuff, because I think I still have my little netbook notepad thing, and that's what I used to play on. So I'm curious what kind of morgue files are hidden around there, or still sitting around, I guess I should say. I do know my very first victory was with a mountain dwarf, which no longer exists whatsoever and hasn't for quite a while, I believe, now that I think about it. But yeah, mountain dwarf berserker, I think. But it might have just been fighter as well. Oh, I'm blanking a little bit on some of the specifics here, but definitely is fun just thinking back to those good old days. Also, this Orb of Fire sucks. So I completely was on autopilot here, not really paying attention to what I was doing here, because what I should have done immediately upon seeing this Orb of Fire, switch over to our silver javelins and start laying down a bit of hurt, maybe? I thought a bit more of hurt than that, honestly, but let's throw in a potion petition, try and get, I was actually kind of hoping for resistance and healing, but that's maybe a bit much to ask for. Anyway, I actually stopped in because I've been volunteering as a PR agent for a good friend of mine who made a roguelike. Do you have a business email or some such where I can contact you? Oh, that's super cool. Definitely shoot me a whisper here on Twitch and I'll send you my email. At some point I have been meaning to set up a more official business email, and it is my stream email that I can hand out, but yeah, definitely shoot me a whisper here on Twitch and we can communicate a little bit in the background and see if it's something we could look at in the future. Okay, so we ligified and we got a resistance potion. I actually, because I'm kind of floating in and out of concentration, I guess, here, I did just accidentally pick that option, but I'm kind of happy with it. So I think we just take it. Unfortunately, I'm missing this Orb of Fire every time with my beautiful silver javelins that were supposed to be the be-all end-all to the whole shebang here. There we go. Got a few hits in a row at the very least. I guess we might as well have brought out like Box of Beasts. Why not? We could even... Let's Phantom Mirror the Tentacled Monstrosity, actually, because that's something that will be a bit more effective on our end. And there we go, we defeated the Orb of Fire. Actually, definitely just should have done all this nonsense in the first place. I think, again, a little unfocused here and ran straight at that Orb of Fire instead of doing the right thing. But hey, now we can make up for it. We're still alive, still kicking, and we're just about at the end of all things here. So it would be a pretty silly time to die, especially with 9 blinking scrolls in our inventory. So let's not be too silly about things, shall we? Let's use the condenser vein to just quickly take out this nice big horde. That should be going a little bit smoother now. Brain says, looks like my first online win was in 0.5.2 back in 09. Nice. I like this little nostalgia trip that we've happened to kick off here. It's really cool hearing, yeah, when people started. I wish I had a better idea of what explicitly was in each version. I know there was a little bit ago that I was going through, I think just some on the wiki, there were a bunch of like little changelog notes that were fascinating to see when certain things like mutation chunks and that kind of stuff, when that was officially removed from the game. But yeah, unfortunately I don't have a great idea off the top of my head as to the feature lists in most of these versions you guys are mentioning. So I can't give, I don't have a good idea of where I started myself. Maybe I'll never know. It would be one of the great mysteries, but all right, Pink. Yeah, you sent me the whisper. Awesome. I'll definitely get back to you either after the stream today or might be tomorrow, if depending on how long it takes us to get through this. Jeez Louise. What is hitting us so hard? Purple Draconians with the Quicksilver bolts. Because we don't have any kind of resistance to them, and we have pretty low health, so it does kind of check out, right? Doing a quick check of some ranges here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Beauty. And now is the time to throw out. We have so many blink scrolls. Let's not just hoard them until the end of days here when it's already too late. And instead, if you've got it, smoke it, and let us just get the heck out of there instead. Gives us a nice opportunity to fully heal up, take a real deep breath of air here, finally relax for the first time in a little bit, and reset this fight against maybe just a few of these buddies at a time, because they're such a pain in the butt. In fact, I thought I was all good against purple Draconians, because, yeah, usually their main issue is Quicksilver bolts, getting rid of any truly necessary buffs that you have. But being a sword and board here, I didn't think we'd be quite as affected by it as we were. It's definitely a little bit of a wake-up call, as Zot often is, I guess. It wouldn't be a trip through Zot if we didn't find ourselves constantly crapping our pants, right? There we go. We're even getting pretty lucky to run into most of these enemies on our trip up, which is good because I don't want to do so with Orb in hand. And there we go. On to Zot 5 and the home stretch of it all here. Let's use our final magic mapping. Immediately, I like to set a full line of sight exclusion on that bad boy there. Then, time to start exploring. And in fact, what I should be doing and almost forgot is bribing this branch. Definitely bribe the denizens of Zot, because we would like to gather a little bit of personal army here, if at all possible. But we shall see how it goes. A little bit sketchy here, I guess. Not necessarily sketchy, we just got into the notification territory for tab fighting, which isn't the end of the world by any means. Okay, of course we run into no enemies once we actually get around to remembering to bribe. Fantastic work on our end there. But hopefully that means, and in fact not just hopefully, but it does completely mean that we will have a decent chunk of change to spend on the denizens in this lung section here. Ooh, and in fact, just getting even one Orb of Fire on our side means that we don't have to fight it, which you'll love to see. So, let's take this bad boy on a little trip, shall we? Okay, it became a fairly long whisper, but my email is in there. Yeah, no worries. I'm happy to read through anything. I myself am highly likely to write entire essays when I try and text people with really simple, straightforward messages. So definitely no complaints or issues there. But okay, we got an Orb of Fire and an Ancient Lich on our side. Heck yeah, I'll take it. They can even protect us while we heal up in the corner back here. Perfect. Do want to make sure that I don't run out of money, though. Why are you... You guys are indifferent. Perfect. I think indifferent people will potentially still attack us if certain qualifications are hit. So not actively, but I think, yeah, if they have to get through a tight corridor or something, then they might still whack us around a bit. Good to keep in mind at the very least. We are going to see one of the beauties of having an Orb of Fire on your side is that you, because the indifferent buddies are fighting our allies. I see what the problem is now. It'll make sense. But Orbs of Fire are really interesting to have on your side, I guess is what I was saying, because if you manage to get an Orb of Fire fighting a second Orb of Fire, they just spend forever malmutating each other and doing absolutely no damage or anything. So it's a nice little waste of their own actions for sure. And holy cow, Death Cob can kill an Ancient Lich, hey? Huh, I actually wouldn't have guessed that off the top of my head. Also, bribe ran out, so let's throw another bribe on top of things here. Oh, please don't hit my green draconian buddy. That's very rude. There we go. It's a lot like when you're trying to make allies and friends with your with a hill orc of BO, where you're just actively trying to get your line of sight out there as fast as possible. Like, please just let me look at you and I promise you'll join the cause here. Changes everything. Beauty. And not too shabby. We may have lost Orb of Fire. Oh, never mind. We did not lose our Orb of Fire. Love to see it. That Draconian did unfortunately succumb to their poisonous wounds here, but it is what it is, and you know, what could we do about it? It's just an unfortunate way of the world, I guess. I also need to be careful that our own Orb of Fire buddy doesn't absolutely nuke us to shreds here, because it has almost happened a couple of times already. Alrighty. Ooh, crystal statue, eh? Oh, hello, Killer Clown. Yes, please come this way. Perfect. Try and fight things outside of the orange statue's line of sight here. No, it doesn't help too much when all my buddies just keep charging straight in, I guess. Hey, do you level peeps know how to find a handful of roguelike streamers? It's definitely a weird one to try and get out en masse like that, because roguelikes... I don't know, I guess it depends if you're speaking specifically old school roguelikes, like Nethack, DCSS and the like, or more modern style, because modern roguelikes are definitely pretty mass appeal at the moment, but a lot of these old school roguelikes, you definitely have to kind of go around to the communities themselves. Basically talking about an ADOM clone, that's the one that you, your friend developed. That's very cool. Something invisible is flitting around here. Oh, never mind. We have seen visible. I'm crazy. But nice, that is super cool. For sure. I'm not sure yet what the best route is for finding the people to go with it. It's a bit of a weird one. It's a mixture between very popular amongst its fan base while also being exceptionally niche. The roguelike Discord. There we go. Thanks, Ninth Settler. That's the right answer. Instead of just giving a bunch of woozy little half answers. Perfect. That makes sense. Brain, I think you could try, but I might have links disabled at the moment here for non-moderators. But I can actually probably do a quick little finagling here. You know what? I lied. This is gonna take a bit more time. You know what? Do it still. Reach over here. Oh gosh, I immediately forgot where all my settings were on here. Well, this is embarrassing. Moderation, there we go. Block hyperlinks. Stop that. Okay, Brain, if you want to try that again, just to pass it out here, that would be awesome, because I'll also probably hop on the Discord. I've been meaning to try and make connections a little bit better in terms of groups. Thanks a lot, Brain, that's awesome. And also, thanks for the follow as well. I didn't mention that when it popped up here, but I very much appreciate it. It's a pretty huge deal for me still. I'm still starting off here, every single follow. But, awesome. Back to the game here. We've managed to clear through all of Zot without too much trouble. We still even have some bribe going, so let's do the usual. We read a scroll of teleportation. We wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 turns ish, and we pick up our orb. Here goes nothing. Should wait just a couple turns and should pop us out. Not too bad. Guess I'll start just walking manually from here. Normally, if I'm at all in the lungs, I'll just immediately pop onto a static teleport trap, but we're actually in a pretty solid spot now. And in fact, let's just say, go all the way up to D0 if you could be so kind. You know what, we didn't get very far before we got interrupted, but let's try that again, shall we? It's nice setting it up on a Control-G command. We bribed the Brimstone Fiend just in time there. Awesome. But anyway, once you get a go command onto Control-G, just hitting Control-G and Enter will, by default, make it go to the same place, which is super handy for just quickly zipping through the floors here on our 4th orb run of the series here. 4 victories in a row as well. If we make it through, I guess. No guarantees yet, especially if I run into a Panlord, because even though we don't have to fight each and every Panlord we come across, you know I gotta. At least one. My characters always really want to at least kill one Lord of Pandemonium on their way out, you know, make a name for themselves back home. But bribing the orb run is so hilarious, right? I wish it had lasted just a bit longer. It definitely is a lot of fun to see what kind of ridiculously powerful spawns that pop in, you end up just converting over to your side instead. Oh wow. What wacky placement. Immediately teleport to the one part of the level that we never fully explored. Fascinating. But otherwise, we can at least, with Boots of Running, just barely make it to the stairs ahead of the Hell Beast, and we're just gonna keep on going. I guess go back to my... oh, Control-G. What did Control-G take me to? I immediately messed up all the macro stuff I was so cocky about before. But that should be all good. We're gonna continue up on our orb run, maybe even just do it a bit more manually per floor. I do kind of like seeing the process of our journey and not missing out too much on anything. So we continue to fight our way out here, not having to run away from everything, or anything really, surprisingly enough. I'm very much used to these orb runs being a wee bit more panicked, all in all. Not that I'm complaining, game. If you could hand me orb runs like this all the time, I'd be very much appreciative of it. But D2, D1, oh, let's definitely take out this Ice Devil at the very least, but there we go. Holy cow. Another win on our belt here. That's 4 victories in our streak here. Feel pretty good about that, considering it's the first time that I've ever truly tried streaking or at all really paid attention to that. So, holy moly me, oh my. Nice, and the GGs in the comments and chat. Thank you guys so much. It's definitely thanks largely to all the help I receive from you guys each and every Sunday here. But Oh, as always, and I feel like I will say this each and every run that we do win, I immediately get hit by this giddy state when I win a DCSS run. It's almost like being drunk. It's just so satisfying, and it's a release of pressure for sure. It feels pretty amazing to make it through. But there we go. Ridiculous inventory. Like, this is probably the only run this whole series that I'll end with 9 scrolls of blinking. Like, absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe we almost died a couple of times with this many panic buttons in our inventory. No wonder this game gets so intense. Yeah, no kidding. But hey, that's what we're here for. Need to challenge ourselves, right? And on that off chance that we get a victory like today, we get to feel good about that, for sure. Oh me, oh my. Well, not too shabby. There it is, 4th species down in the dirt, and I was definitely hoping that Gargoyle would be a little more straightforward of a playthrough, and definitely just finishing it in one session is a bit indicative of that for me here. But that does mean that next time around here, next Sunday, we're going to be jumping back in with Draconian, which is definitely the first of the slightly more interesting species mechanically here, where we're going to be dealing with our scales changing color, seeing what kind of changes that makes in our playstyle, as well as, if we just pop in here, I guess, we can take a look at some of the standard aptitudes. I guess armor, oh right, they can't wear armor. That really broke my brain for a second, but pretty solid defensive aptitudes here. It'll be nice to have a plus to our overall health total instead of a negative like we're used to with the Gargoyle here. But yeah, just neutral across the board until you gain your Draconian color, and then some of your magic aptitudes get swapped up and stuff. Should be a bit of an interesting run, a bit of a fun one, and it will be nice to be switching back into a caster role, probably. I think I'm going to go with the caster Draconian, but no promises, especially since if anyone has a run that they really want to see, as always, feel free to message me either in chat, shoot me a whisper, or anywhere in my YouTube comment section. Feel free to just post anywhere if you have a suggestion or a comment that you really want to get out there, because I love hearing from all of you. It definitely is a huge part of what makes this all so engaging and rewarding on my end of things here. So yeah, let me know if there's anything you really want to see from Draconian, if there's maybe a lost run of your own that you would love to get some iota of redemption for on some level here. But regardless, we'll have to see where life takes us when we come back to all this stuff in the future here. I mean, I definitely had a whole lot of fun today. It was lovely getting to chat with everyone, and in fact, yeah, Wad, thank you for the follow as well. Really appreciate it. Loved hearing from you as well. But hope you all enjoyed watching. Hopefully it wasn't too painful to get through. Definitely trying our best here to keep it moving and have some fun. But if you did, definitely, and if you haven't already, shot me a follow, I guess. Definitely feel free to shoot me a follow on Twitch. Notified whenever we go live, see what we're playing. And as I've mentioned throughout the stream tonight, that I do really appreciate it. Each and every follow is still a wonder to me at this stage in my streaming career, as it were. But if you want to catch up on some of the runs that you may have missed in the past, you can head over to YouTube, and most of them are uploaded there. It's Torinski there as well. But I think we also have a lot of highlights kind of saved away as VODs on Twitch here, if you're a fairly Twitch-centric person for your media. But regardless of all that, I do hope that you're all having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you out there. And I hope to see some or all of you around in the future here, whether that be on Wednesday when we're back into a little more of our variety gaming. I think probably going into the Binding of Isaac, Afterbirth, or it's not Afterbirth, what is the... Repentance. Oh gosh, that was embarrassing. Or next Sunday, when we're going to be jumping right back into Crawl here, trying our very best to keep the streak going here with a 5th victory, maybe, just maybe, as a Draconian, which should be a whole lot of fun. Thank you again so much to everyone who showed up in chat tonight. I can't mention enough how much fun it is to get to chat with all of you, especially getting to hear about everyone's DCSS introduction experiences, because that's just very cool. Very cool indeed. So I guess before I just keep rambling on incessantly until the end of time here, I should just say goodbye and thank you all. I hope to see you sometime in the future. See you soon. Also, very embarrassing to switch to my wrong outro sign out, but see ya.